You wake up on a Monday morning with absolute certainty that this time will be different. You have the book, you have the plan, you have the motivation. For a brief moment, your future feels close enough to touch because your mind mistakes inspiration for transformation. Then Wednesday arrives. The excitement fades. The alarm feels louder. The bed feels warmer. The habit quietly disappears. Why does this happen? Most people blame discipline, but discipline is rarely the real problem. Your brain is doing exactly what it has evolved to do. It protects familiar patterns because familiar patterns feel safe, even when they no longer serve you. Every new habit asks your brain to spend more energy today for a reward that may not arrive for weeks or, in some cases, for months. That is a terrible deal from your brain's perspective, so it resists, not because you're lazy, but because you're human. This is why motivation feels so powerful on day 1 and so unreliable on day 3. Motivation is an emotion, habits are a system. The moment you depend on one to create the other, you create a cycle that eventually collapses. James Clear explains this beautifully in Atomic Habits. The biggest mistake is believing that habits are about outcomes. They are really about your identity. You don't become a reader because you finish 10 books. You become a reader because every day you cast one small vote for the identity of someone who reads. The same applies to exercise, meditation, writing, saving money, or learning a new skill. Your actions are not simply producing results, they are producing evidence. Every repetition quietly answers a question: who are you becoming? Your brain pays attention to evidence far more than intentions. That is why tiny actions matter. Reading one page may sound insignificant. Meditating for 2 minutes always almost pointless. Writing a single paragraph looks too small to matter. Yet, those tiny actions accomplish something much larger. They reduce resistance. Your brain does not fear one page, it fears 1 hour. It does not resist 2 minutes, it resists a lifetime. Small slip past the brain's defense system because they feel safe. Over time, repetitions change the familiarity, and familiarity changes the identity. Psychologists sometimes describe this as reducing activation energy. The easier a behavior is to begin, the more likely it is to continue. That is why laying out your workout clothes the night before works. That is why leaving a book on the pillow increases the chance that you will read it. You are not increasing willpower, you are decreasing friction. Most productivity advice ignores this completely. It tells you to push harder, wake up earlier, work longer, stay motivated. But every extra layer of difficulty teaches your brain something dangerous. This is exhausting. Eventually, it begins avoiding the habit before you even notice. This is another framework that explains this. BJ Fogg's behavior model suggests that behavior happens when motivation, ability, and a prompt come together. People obsess over motivation. Successful habit builders obsess over ability. Can I make this so easy that I cannot say no? That question changes everything. Instead of reading 30 pages, read one. Instead of running 5 kilometers, put your shoes on. Instead of writing a chapter, just write a sentence. These small actions may look immaterial until you repeat them. Then something remarkable happens. The behavior stops feeling new. It starts feeling normal. Your identity quietly shifts beneath the surface. One day, you no longer think about becoming disciplined. You think about being someone who acts with discipline. That transformation is invisible while it is happening, which is exactly why most people quit too early. They expect dramatic progress. Real habits produce quiet progress, like roots growing underground before the tree appears. Every repetition strengthens something you cannot immediately measure. Trust that process, protect it. Make it easy enough to repeat tomorrow because the goal is never to be having one extraordinary day. The goal is to become the kind of person who naturally returns on the next day. Three kinds of activities happen in your brain And after 3 days, your brain still is trying to pull you back towards comfort. Expect that. Smile at it. Then do the smallest version of your habit anyway. That tiny action is not just completing a task, it is becoming a proof. And a proof is what changes identity. So tonight, don't ask yourself whether you feel motivated. Ask yourself a different question. What is the smallest action that proves who I want to become? Do that. Tomorrow, do that again. Because your brain doesn't reject good habits after 3 days. It rejects identities it hasn't learned to believe yet.